The American Revolution, which lasted from 1765 to 1783, wasn't just something that happened overnight.
Hmm.
It was years of tension that finally reached a boiling point. You see, Great Britain was trying to get a handle on war debts, so they tried to exert more control over the colonies. Specifically, they really started pushing taxation, and that's when things got interesting.
It's pretty amazing how a simple tax dispute could escalate into a full-blown revolution. What were some of those key events that really fanned the flames?
Well, the Stamp Act of 1775 and the Townshend Acts were really big triggers. These were like direct attempts to raise money from the colonies. And the colonists, they were having none of it. They felt like they were being taxed without any say in the British Parliament. Basically, they felt like their rights as Englishmen were being totally trampled on.
They didn't just sit back and complain, though. They took action. Pamphlets were a huge deal back then, weren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Pamphlets were like the social media of their time, seriously. Take, for example, John Dickinson's Letters from a Farmer in Pennsylvania. His writings were super influential. They argued against those British policies and got a lot of people on board with the resistance. This period also gave rise to amazing speakers like Pappy Henry. His speeches, especially the Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death one, really fired people up.
So basically, from heated debates in pamphlets to all-out protests, things were escalating quickly. And then there was the Boston Massacre in 1770. That's when British soldiers actually fired on unarmed colonists. That had to be a turning point.
Totally. There's still debate about the specifics of the Boston Massacre, but there's no doubt that it fueled the anti-British sentiment. It pushed the colonists to form the Continental Congresses. These assemblies brought colonial leaders together so they could figure out how to respond to all this chaos.
So were the Continental Congresses kind of like the first brainstorming sessions for a brand new nation?
That's a great way to put it. In 1774, the first Congress tried to smooth things over with King George III. They hoped for some kind of reconciliation. But by 1775, after the battles of Lexington and Concord, the Second Congress realized they needed to get serious. They established the Continental Army and put George Washington in charge. That was a huge step. It basically marked the start of the armed conflict.
And George Washington, just a planter from Virginia, ended up leading a ragtag army against the biggest superpower of the time. Those first battles couldn't have been easy wins, right?
Definitely not. They were up against the British Empire after all. But their surprise victory at the Battle of Bunker Hill in 1775, even though they suffered a lot of losses, showed everyone how determined they were. It also proved how good of a leader Benedict Arnold was, at least back then. Who would have thought he'd become infamous for treason later on?
It's amazing how regular people became these fearless revolutionaries willing to risk everything for independence.